you're thinking of taking a day trip to Hiroshima from Tokyo, Kyoto, or Osaka, I strongly urge you not to. Why? Because you won't have enough time to see or enjoy much at all, and you'll leave with huge regret that you didn't book a hotel for at least one night. That's exactly how my partner and I felt when we tried a Hiroshima day trip at the end of last year. The math here is simple. Getting to Hiroshima from Kyoto or Osaka takes from 1.5 to 2.5 hours each way on the bullet train, the Shinkansen, and you'll be paying over £100 for a ticket. We went from Kyoto and paid £130. And if you try to do it from Tokyo, you're paying around the same amount, but you're doubling the travelling time. And here's something we never considered, the time it'll take you to get around Hiroshima to see the things you want to. Say you want to visit Itsukushima Island, otherwise known as Miyajima, to see its iconic torii gate floating on the water. That'll take you an hour each way. What I'm trying to say here is if you're even remotely interested in visiting Hiroshima, do yourself a favour and book a hotel for a night or two. Now, here's everything I was able to see in this incredible city in the short time I was there. It takes about 10 minutes to get to Itsukushima Island via ferry, which you can catch from Hiroshima's Miyajimaguchi station. They run every 15 minutes from around 6 AM to 10 PM. The island is just under 12 square miles in size with mountainous terrain and huge forests. Around 2,000 people call the island home. There's no city on the island, but there are small towns along with an elementary and middle school. Mount Mizan is the peak of the island, sitting at 535 meters, which you can get to via cable car. Unfortunately, we didn't have time for that. What we did have time for was the Itsukushima Shrine, specifically its 50-foot tall torii gate that stands out from other torii gates, not only because of its size, but because of its additional legs in front and behind its main pillars. But the real reason crowds flock to this torii gate is because it's built on tidal sands, so it appears to be floating elegantly on the water when the tide is in. And when the tide is out, you can get up close to it like you see here. It's pretty incredible to think the gate has been standing there since the year 1168. Oh, and don't worry if you're planning on visiting at night. The shrine on the shore has lights that shine on the gate so it can be seen clearly. A 2-minute walk from the gate is Omotesandō Shopping Street, which is one of the busiest parts of the island, lined with restaurants and other privately owned shops selling all kinds of tempting goods. We're a huge fan of soy sauce for cooking at home, so had a great time perusing an entire shop filled with different kinds. For food, I highly recommend a family-run restaurant called WADA. There's only one item on the menu, Japanese eel rice, and it's absolutely delicious. And that's coming from someone who doesn't usually like fish dishes all that much. I almost forgot to mention there's wild deer on the island too, just like in Nara, which I covered in a previous video. Unfortunately, that's all we had time for on Itsukushima. We were there for about 2 hours in total. Hiroshima is one of 2 cities in the world to experience the most destructive force ever created by humankind. On Monday, August 6, 1945 at 8:15 AM, the nuclear weapon known as Little Boy was dropped on Hiroshima. This killed at least 70,000 people immediately, with up to another 70,000 dead by the end of that year due to injury and radiation. At the time of the bombing, the city's population was about 345,000. Around 70% of the city's buildings were destroyed, with others still standing but severely damaged. The atomic bomb dome you see has been preserved so it looks exactly as it did after the explosion. It forms part of the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Park that stands as a beacon for peace and in memory of everyone who lost their lives. Preserving Hiroshima and everything it now stands for is vitally important to its people, and it was profound hearing this directly from a group of students in the city. It's an incredibly powerful experience to walk around the park and see the various memorials and monuments that have been made in honor of the direct and indirect victims of the bombing. The park sits in what was one of the city's busiest downtown commercial and residential districts before the bombing took place. Every year on August 6th, the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Ceremony takes place in front of the memorial cenotaph that's dedicated to consoling the victims of the bombing and for advocating world peace. The Hiroshima Peace Memorial Museum is located in the park and is an essential visit. Its huge array of exhibits tell you about the city of Hiroshima and its people before World War II, and focuses on the individual victims to convey the horrors of the bombing. Throughout the museum are belongings left by the victims, which portrays their suffering in a profound and frightening way. No starker reminder is there of how horrifying this event was than seeing someone's watch that stopped the moment the bomb was dropped at 8:15 AM. Visiting the museum and Peace Park memorials isn't easy. Much of what you see and read will make you feel uncomfortable, but we found it to be a crucial experience to truly understand the gravity of this terrifying event. A short walk from the atomic bomb dome is a memorial showing the hypocenter of the blast. This is the exact point in which the bomb was detonated. The atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima detonated 600 meters above ground. Due to crosswinds, the bomb missed its target of the Ioi Bridge and instead detonated above Shima Hospital. The hospital was rebuilt in the post-war period and stands to this day. We ended our day trip in Hiroshima by going up the Orizuru Tower. Orizuru means a paper or folded crane, which has been a symbol for hope and peace since the bombing. The tower opened in 2016 and stands at 50 meters tall. The architecture of the building is pretty spectacular, especially with the design of its open-air observation deck at the very top. And just look at these views. On a clear day, you can see as far as Mount Misen on Itsukushima Island that we saw earlier in the video. The building also overlooks the atomic bomb dome and the entirety of the Peace Park. You can also see other landmarks like the Hiroshima Green Arena, which is a huge indoor sports center, as well as Hiroshima Castle. It might sound strange, but looking down on the city covered in a golden sunset was one of those moments in life that I didn't want to end. Something about the vibrant life bustling below made me realize that Hiroshima epitomizes the ultimate redemption story. It serves as a poignant reminder that, in the face of adversity, the resilience of the human spirit can triumph no matter what's thrown at it. At the very same moment, I was filled with a deep feeling of regret that very soon I'd have to go back to the station and catch the train home. I didn't feel like I'd even scratched the surface of this incredible city. I really wanted more time to walk its streets, soak up its culture and atmosphere, and visit the city's other popular spots. I guess that's the exact feeling I don't want you to have. So, as I mentioned at the start of this video, if you're visiting Hiroshima, do yourself a favor and book a hotel for a night or two. My partner and I will certainly be back in the future to see everything we missed out on. Orizuru Tower isn't just an observation deck though. There's tons of information about the city of Hiroshima before and after the bombing. There's also an area where you can make your own Orizuru, or paper crane, make a wish and watch it float to the bottom of the tower and join a sea of others. And that's all for our Hiroshima day trip. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like it as it really does help the channel grow, and subscribe for more content. Next up, we're off to Tokyo for our next travel guide.